Welcome to Off Brand by Cocokind. I'm Priscilla Tsai, Cocokind's founder and CEO, and each week I get into the real, unfiltered side of building a brand alongside our community and creating substantive beauty products. We don't believe in trying to be anyone but ourselves, and we don't think you should either. So come along as we get real and imperfect, go deeper on topics most beauty companies won't, and get a bit off brand. Welcome back to Off Brand by Cocokind. We are here live in New York City. Woo! We are here right now in the heart of Times Square with 9 people in our community. We are so excited to be here. And we started last night. Last night was day 1. We had an incredible night, a little pizza party. And today we just did a crafting hour and we're doing an episode here. And the theme of this weekend that I want to talk to you guys about is you're the main character. That's the whole weekend. And we have a lot of surprises for you throughout the next 2 days that will be on brand with you're the main character. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about this. You guys know in our brand, in our podcast, we've talked about the idea of just like not feeling enough and how we actively fight against that here at Cocokind, because we know that not only in the beauty industry, but just like open your phone these days and there's so many channels of just all these pressures that we see in our day-to-day lives of just feeling not enough or feeling like we have to do more or be more or look different or whatever it is. And that's something that we're actively trying to find sources to fight against that here at Cocokind. And we've done that since literally day 1. And that's very much a part of my journey. But we want to make sure that we're like staying with the times, staying with our community, and we continue to influence in that positive direction. So I want to talk a little bit about this. And part of being the main character is just understanding and appreciating exactly who you are. And sometimes we forget that because you don't spend as much time thinking about exactly who you are. And instead you see all these other sources of, inspiration, but sometimes it's negative pressure to be something different. So what I would want to kick it off with, but first, of course, you'll introduce yourself to say your name, where you're from. And then if you can tell the community here, I'd love for you to tell us what's something that your closest like family and friends would say about you. Obviously, it's going to be something super positive that maybe you don't remember, you don't think about on a daily basis, but they do. It's probably one of the first things they would say about you. And I'd love to just start there. Okay? All right, I'm going to start here.
Cool. I'm Cynthia. I currently live in Cleveland, Ohio. And I would say probably my friends. Well, it's actually funny. I met Noah for like 2 hours yesterday, and he was like, I can tell you're very empathetic. And I feel like that's something my friends would say, like very empathetic, very caring, and then definitely resonate with the feeling like the not enough or like humble, but like almost to a fault sometimes where you don't believe in yourself. So I would say a few of those are the things my friends would describe me as.
Okay, amazing. And very relatable.
Hey, I'm Jenny. I'm from LA. I would say my friends would say that I'm nurturing, it's like maternal. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Kelsey. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. And I would say that my friends and family would say that I'm giving. I feel like in everything I do, like my biggest thing is to always give back, especially to my family.
Love that.
Hi, I'm Paige. I'm from Frederick, Maryland. I think my family would say that I am loyal and also nurturing because I'm a mom, but just always the person that's showing up no matter what. I always show up.
Hi, I'm Amanda from Northern California. When I think about how friends and family would describe me, I think they'd say I'm there for them. Whether it's a phone call, showing up in person, I'll be there if they need me.
Hello, I'm Noah. I'm from Tampa, Florida, but I'm moving to Wisconsin soon. And I would say that my friends say I'm dependable. I'm usually the person that they call when something's going on.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. I'm from Middle Tennessee. My friends and family would probably just say that I'm always going to be there for them. I'm kind, I'm thoughtful, and they can always depend on me when they need me the most.
Hi, I'm Rachel from San Francisco, and I think one thing that I'm trying to connect with more again, because my closest family and friends would say, is that I'm very quick-witted, but I only am that when I'm like comfortable, and so it's something I'm just trying to like bring out more of my personality in like everyday situations.
Hi, I'm Ren. I'm from Riverside, California. And I think my friends and family would say I'm super outgoing and super fun. I love to just bring everything out of everyone and just make them have fun. So people are always coming to me whenever they feel sad because they know that I got a joke or something. So that's good.
We can already tell that for sure. I feel like so much of what you guys said, like truly, we can already see in every single one of you, and it really resonates. And there's a lot of similarities, a lot of uniqueness, in all the things that make us so special. But that's something that I feel like I want you guys to remember throughout this weekend, and of course, just like on a day-to-day basis, because yeah, so much of celebrating who we are means just like really reminding ourselves, and actively kind of fighting to keep that in the forefront of our heads. Can we talk a little bit about, I'm curious, like the beauty industry or even like social media industry? I know some of you are active on social, some of you not, and maybe that's a choice, but I would want to chat a little bit about how you feel, on social media. If you ever think about how you feel when you go on social media, and maybe the positives and maybe the negatives, but like anything in between. Anybody? Yeah.
So I am not very active on social media, and a part of it is a choice. And I think really when I think about the root of it, though, it's because I don't think I have enough content to produce or things in my life that are worth sharing. And then I second guess myself. I think, oh, I don't need to post that. Why would I need to flaunt this? Or, I warp it in my brain and think I'm not worthy enough to share my life with people, even though the people that I follow are friends and family who I know would want an update. So I get in my head a lot.
Yeah, totally.
I want updates now. I want updates on your life.
We want the update.
And while you're here, I can piggyback off of that. So I do feel like I have so much in my life that is worthy of sharing. But then when I get on the internet and I'm on social media, I'm like, oh, but I can't. Like, I feel like my content doesn't keep up with everybody else's. And I kind of psych myself out when I'm posting. And I think a lot of the reason I focus so much on my daughter is because I still feel that way internally. And like, she doesn't have that yet. So when I start recording her, she's just like, yes, put me in front of the camera. I can do all the things. And I'm like, but she also gets it from me. But I feel like I don't show enough of myself, even though I believe there's so much of me that is worthy of being there. But I just get really self-conscious really quickly.
Yeah, I get that. It's really hard to want to share your life and know that it's somewhat measured by likes, right? Or like feel like it's going to be measured by likes. That's not comfortable.
It's hard though too because you try not to compare yourself to other people, but it's inevitable. I mean it's really hard, but you just have to stay true to like who you are and what you want your content to be and who you want to like be perceived as.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
that's is the most important thing.
Yeah. I mean, you are the main character. Does anybody have any tips for like not comparing yourself to other people? Or maybe we all compare ourselves to other people because it is inevitable, but like managing through that?
I would say following people that have like the same beliefs as you. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
especially Chelsea with her platform, she does a great job of like showing up authentically. If she like when she has like a breakout, she's not like the first to like hide it. I think it's just going online and being like your authentic self if that's what you want, because it's so easy to put on a facade, a filter, and be someone different that I feel like people resonate more with people who are authentic, and they're going to want to see what you're doing more than like someone who's just, posting something for the trend or, just for the likes.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
I was going to say from like the mental health side of it too, I like to do like thought stopping tools with it. So even just telling myself like I'm having the thought that I'm comparing myself to XYZ, and it just gives, like a little bit of distance to the thought. And that's been really helpful.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I think it's something you have to check in with yourself because you look at other people like, oh, their accounts are growing so quickly. But I also am like, what am I trying to actually share and what am I actually trying to do? And it's different. I have to think about like my life is so different compared to a lot of people. So I have to kind of center it back. Like this is my unique story and how I want to share it. I'm still figuring that out. So I can't really compare, but you do have to kind of check in yourself and be like, I can't just share it that way because that wouldn't feel like authentic in me. Like I have to share like the good and the bad of like trying to find magic in life after loss. So it's like a total different thing. But yeah, it's one of those things you have to like still like, I'm different. It's okay. And I have to like really hone in on that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think on social media, here, our uniqueness is what makes us special.
I think for me, finding a community of people who believe the same thing as I do or like the same things as I do really helped me. Because when I first started content creation, I was like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm not relatable. No one like really who's like super like famous or whatever like looks like me, is my size, my skin color. So it's something that I was really down on myself about. Like, but then I'm the first one, you know? I can be me and like show other people that do look like me who want to get into stuff, who want to know more things about like skincare, beauty, whatever it is. Like, I think making myself available to them makes me feel better. And I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, we're all doing our best and we're having fun. So I don't really compare myself that much anymore. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think with just comparison, so much like I love what Noah said too about like sometimes we do it like, I mean, all the time we do it subconsciously, right? It's like you don't even realize that you are comparing yourself or you don't realize how something's affecting you. And then you close the app and you're just like, you just feel weird. You feel a little off or you just feel like you're like, ugh, like a little defeated. And so for me, I do like now I'm like, I just try to be more hyper conscious about like when I'm experiencing it instead of just like doom scrolling. If I start to notice like I'm not feeling good, like I will close the app. Or I just really kind of curate my follow list, right? And I make sure that there are people who are values are aligned with me, that it make me feel good, that, kind of share that desire too of all wanting to feel good in ourselves. So these days it's like I don't really have people that show up on my feed that are like kind of influencing me to not live my own life and to influence me to not be unique and to be different. So I definitely, I think it's like impossible not to be affected by comparison, but it's also about like being conscious of it and then having the tools to manage for it. If I'm curious if anybody can think of other people outside this room, because, Cocokind is all about community and our community is large, but I would love to hear like if anybody has any like follows or anyone out there, maybe it's like an outlet, maybe it's a person or something that just like has inspired you. And they can be on social media or not on social media, and like how they've inspired you to be unique in yourself.
I have one actually. It's M, and she was on the last brand trip. I love her so much. Yes. And I just think that she's so authentic and so fun and so warm. So I love watching her videos. I'm like, oh, this is like what I aspire to be. I think she's so inspirational. I adore you, M, if you're listening.
We love you, Emily. Yeah.
I was also going to bring up M, and the other one I was going to say was Miss Skincare with Shelves. I think she has inspired like a whole generation of us. Like she's always in our DMs being like, love your content, keep doing it, giving us tips. So we all really appreciate you, Shelby.
Yeah, I second that. I second Shelby.
It's so nice to have people who hype you up. And I feel like that's so much of what a Cocokind community has become this year is like a hype squad for each other. We feel that, and we're so lucky to have that as a brand. But what makes it even more special is like seeing other people in the Cocokind community, like outside of Cocokind, sometimes on posts that have nothing to do with Cocokind, although I wish it did. Just kidding. I'm not going to compare. But to see you all give each other so much love is really, really special because we know we're having the impact that we desire to have. I think for me, I would want to ask you all, when you think about the beauty industry in particular, have you felt like the main character? Do you feel like the main character? No. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of, yeah.
So I'm not a makeup girl. And I am about like 90% tomboy. So even preparing to come here, like I had to do a lot of brain work in my head because I'm like, everybody's doing all these things and they wear makeup and all the things and I just don't do it. And so being a woman in my 30s that's not super feminine and getting on the internet and then comparing myself, I'm like, do I need to start doing this? Do I need to start doing that? I'm like, no, it's just not me. And so like even packing my bag to come here and like picking out my clothes and like looking at, I'm looking up things on Pinterest. I'm looking up stuff on Instagram. I'm like, I don't know what to do. It's hard.
But I want you to know you don't need to do that. Like it's like you do not need to do that. You can show up here like as you are, truly. I really, really mean that. And that's like so important to me and the team that you feel that way and you really, really take that in.
No, I think I really resonated with what you said, Paige. I was freaking out this week trying to pack and thinking like, oh, I'm in New York City. It means something, but you can truly like I had to remind myself, yes, I was selected for this, but also it's not like, oh, I'm so undeserving. It's a chance for me to experience what is it like to be the main character deemed by other people, and then I can accept it for myself and really embrace that. So I like started to get emotional just hearing your response, Paige.
Twin flame. You are my twin flame.
I feel like it's really hard because like even last night, like I did a full face of makeup and then I was like, this just isn't me. Like this isn't how I show up authentically, like in my everyday life. So why is that like the side that I'm going to show everybody? So it's just, you get in your head about like everything. And I feel like, I'm the type of person that I break out when I'm super stressed. So it's like the stress of just like being away from home and like going somewhere new, like my face broke out and I was like, I could cover it up or I could just be here and be in the moment.
I love that. And I very much relate to like, I know I say that like, I don't want you all to feel that way. And I truly mean that, but I also relate to feeling that way. Like this past week, I went to this conference and it was like for founders and it's like this very prestigious like beauty industry thing. And I was asked to speak on a panel. And for weeks I was like, oh, what am I going to wear and what I'm going to like do? And I ended up getting my makeup done. And by this most amazing, like my favorite person in LA, Kelly Zhang. But I honestly was on stage for 20 minutes. Like it was a very short panel. And then I remember just like afterwards on the way to the airport, like I already changed in Uber. I was like, I got to get out of my dress. And I was changed and I had only gone to LA for like 4 hours and I flew back to SF. And I was just like sitting there. I have a full face of makeup and I actually was recording something about our community brand trip and I realized one of my eyelashes was falling off. And I just like, cause I don't wear, I barely wear mascara, on a daily basis, right? And I'm just sitting there like, I have a full face of makeup right now and I am like going home to my toddlers. I quote unquote needed makeup for 20 minutes today, but I spent an hour and a half in a chair. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I have so many friends who like, they'll always like get their makeup done before panels. And so I never would have done that before ever. And in the past like 18 months, I feel like I've like done that a little bit more. And I don't know, for me, it's like, I also appreciate, like, I want to feel good and I want to feel confident, but I also know that I don't really need that, to feel good and confident in what I say, because what I felt really great about what I said, right? I felt really great about talking about our brand, our customers, our community, like everything we've done for our products and everything in between. So I don't really need to, I don't know, like I should feel really good just about that. And I had this moment of being like, felt really silly being like, I have like eyelashes that are coming off my face and I'm going home to my toddlers. And I like truly was on stage for 20 minutes. Like I probably just didn't need to, feel the pressure and need to go all out with my glam. So I totally get that feeling. And sometimes there's just kind of being a part of this industry, which you are all a part of the beauty industry, whether you realize it or not, right? Like some people are actively, you're a part of it. Some people you're participating as an active participant. I mean, you're here, right? So for many years, I didn't consider Cocokind as part of the beauty industry. Like I would just not. And then I realized like, wait, we're skincare and we're obviously like, people are using our skincare products with their physical appearances. And I'm like, we are actually, but I almost like kind of liked feeling like outsiders, I like not feeling like we're in the sea of sameness, constantly doing the same thing, making people feel the same way. And I always say there's like, for all the quote unquote cool brands out today, like what are they doing that is actually different from 40 years ago? Like they're still putting out aspirational images. They're still trying to look cooler, expensive, prettier, the prettiest, like whatever, right? And it's not that inspirational to me. So I liked feeling like we're like this band of outsiders that is like rising, and making like bringing people all along the way. And we're just like trying to, like make people feel comfortable, right? Like just like be that that section, even if it's a smallest section, that's fine. But we're growing and we're here to participate in the beauty industry, but also make people understand that you can feel comfortable as you are, in all forms and all shapes of life.
I'll say a little bit different in the sense, I think because I dealt with so much grief, like I didn't care about like makeup or getting ready. And I think the flip side is like, it doesn't have to be like full glam, but just like taking the time to like, whether it's skincare or like, I really feel good when I have like good lip color on or something. And so for me, it's like the practice of like at least putting effort into how I look and feel. And like, sometimes I feel like I would be like, oh, it's, I'm not going to do all that because it's too much. But sometimes I think it's also nice to be like, no, I deserve that too. And I think it's like, you have to decide. But I think it's also nice to like, if you feel like getting ready, but to me, it's like not even like getting full glam. It's just like, okay, I want to put lip mascara on. I want to like, just feel like I put effort into myself, which I think to me is the most confident that I feel is when I put the effort. It doesn't matter that I have a ton of makeup on or whatever. I don't know how to do all that, but like just enough to like that I feel good and I put the effort in. And for me, that's been like a really good thing for like my mental health too, is like, I'm going to put in that effort, because sometimes I'd be like, oh, it's too much. Like that's too high maintenance. But I'm like, you know what? If I want to be high maintenance today, I'm going to do it. And I think deciding that is also an important thing. Like you get to decide when you want to feel that, but you deserve it if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really fun to get glam, by the way, right? Like it is just fun. And the act of getting ready can be fun. Although I definitely had a lot of hours and hours of my life, like where getting ready was like torture. Like I felt like I was like covering up everything and couldn't cover it up enough, or it was, making my skin look weird or whatever, it was not fun at all. So I think I'm like very sensitive to that. But now I think there is definitely an enjoyment of, having that experience and feeling your best. I think it's all about like where it comes from and having it be like a positive, fun thing. We want it to be fun. Beauty should be fun. It shouldn't be driven by like negative pressure, right? It's like going on a run. Like if you're like, oh, I want to, and I'm like energized, versus being like, I need to go on a run. Like that's awful. Nobody wants to do that. You know what I mean?
Going back to what Amanda and Paige said, I feel like I'm on the other spectrum of like, I love to get ready. I'm a girly girl. I will spend all my time in the morning getting ready. And I think it's been like, I haven't really felt like the main character when it comes to beauty, because you don't really see brands that cater to darker skinned women or women of color. So it's hard to find things that are in your shade that look not crazy on you. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that really drew me to Cocokind was like the lip balm. I put on the shade Be Bold, and she is that, okay? Like the pigment, it actually shows up. I went through a whole entire series of like trying to find lip balms that looked good on my skin. And that was like one of the first ones. And that just made me so happy to see that you guys kind of thought about everyone else. And tested, and I was like, I do feel like the main character when I use my Cocokind, because it's like so, it just feels so intimate. Like the whole entire brand, you guys saying like, you guys still are the outsiders. You're still different. Like when I think of you guys compared to all of the other brands, which no shade, I love them, but I feel important when it comes to Cocokind. So I definitely have been feeling more like the main character and putting myself in that space.
God, that's really special. I really appreciate you saying that, because you are important. That's like our whole thing, So it's like, it's for you to say that to us is like really meaningful. So I appreciate that. Are there things that we, Cocokind, can be doing more of? Are there things that we as a community here at Cocokind can do more to inspire other people to feel good in their skin? Yeah.
I would say more like community events, because I feel like we've all made friends like on, TikTok. We all like comment and like each other's stuff. And I feel like the community has been really amazing. So I feel like more opportunities for people to like connect in person, because I feel like everyone that I've met through Cocokind has been really nice and like-minded, at least in like, the main ways, the important ways. So I think more community events for like people to connect in person, I think would be cool.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, Kelsey and Britta are literally BFFs, and because they met through Cocokind online, but then met in person, live close-ish to each other, and like have become so close, which is awesome. Let's talk about that a little bit more, because I want to like detail that and think about how we can execute that. The limitation on our end is that like our team is small, right? And we're doing like a million things and not just marketing, right? We have so many other things that are going on nonstop. And our marketing team is actually really small. Like you're looking at them. Uh, so it's more just like, okay, when we think about like doing all these events like every other week in a million different cities, like that is hard. But what if we kind of like what we had we have a little bit of there's a Discord channel that's a little underground, but what if we actually said like, you all can, you're in our Cocokind community, you can host the event and we'll pay for it, we'll help you, we'll send stuff, we'll send gifts, but like you all can initiate like your own meetups. Does that sound interesting to you, or do you feel like it's like, yeah?
I was gonna say me, Tay, and Lee all live in Tampa, and we've been trying to coordinate because P offered to pay for our coffee or whatever we wanted. So yeah, I just think that's like a great idea and like a easy way for the team to not to have to like plan a whole thing.
Okay.
I think like maybe having like kind of templates, because I think like I'm good at community planning, but I know a lot of people it would stop them. So like having like, oh, you can do like a coffee meetup or like a makeup or skincare day, or like a walk or something, like different packets, and then it's kind of like you're ready also for like budget wise, you can kind of figure that out. And maybe it's like, oh, each area gets like a bigger budget day or something like every quarter.
Totally, I love that. And then there could be like an area captain, like a local captain. And then like even if a good movie comes out, it's like, hey, do you want to come see this movie, or do you want to do this? Like, yeah. We're going to Wicked today on Broadway. Yeah. I really love that. And I do think that like having community is so important for being enough and feeling enough and surrounding yourself with people who constantly inspire you to do so. So we will take that back, absolutely, and figure out how we can execute that. Would you all be willing to be local captains? Yeah. Well, Red's already planning a wedding for a friend.
This is not even something that you guys can do better. I just want to give you guys a compliment for everyone who's in here and everyone who's listening who works at Cocokind. The customer service is top tier. I have never experienced this before. I had a problem with one of my orders. I think I DM'd you guys and I was like, hey, something weird is happening. You're just like, okay, we'll send you another one right away. Usually you'd have to go through like an automated service and then go through all this stuff. And you guys are so quick and so responsive and so knowledgeable and so helpful. So I really do appreciate the time and the effort that you guys put into like just being in your community. It's super important.
Thank you. No, thank you so much for saying that, because we do have a really hardworking CX team, and for us, CX is customer service or customer experience, and really all of us are part of the CX team too. And it's not just like orders that have issues, but it's like DMs, and it's DMs on different platforms, and we're trying to make sure that like we're growing that capability because it is like expanding significantly. And so that's something that we've talked about internally of just like, okay, previously we had like one person for community on like just generally on social. And she's been with the company for like several years, but we have so many more like tags and mentions on TikTok and everything now. And like, we have to grow our capabilities as our community is rapidly growing. And it's important to us that like, if you email us and you have a question, or of course, if you have an issue, that like you're talked to immediately, and our team is Monday through Friday. We have a 1 business day turnaround. Like that's really like wherever you talk to us, like that's what we strive to do. Sometimes it's easier than others. Sometimes we have big waves and we're playing a little bit of catch up, but it's really important to us. I always stress it, and I know the team always feels that, and they try to, as much as possible, make sure that people like feel that immediacy, because we've all been there and just feeling like, you haven't heard from somebody. So if anybody's out there and you don't hear from our team, if you email in, check spam, because that's something we always have to kind of remind people, like check spam or something, because it might be going to that folder, because we do have a 1 business day policy.
I think it's really cool to hear, because being actually part of the Cocokind team and kind of an extension of the CX team, and I think we all care, and every time something comes up and we see visibility to, you know, an issue or like a comment, whatever, we celebrate, right? And then but then we also all put our hands in and say like, you know, how can we make this better and whatnot. And so I think it's really cool. I mean, seeing both sides of it and coming full circle.
Yeah, totally. There is like I mean, you know, Jenny here is in ops. And for those of you who don't know, we take one teammate to enjoy the community brand trip every time because Josie, actually on our first brand trip, Josie came with us, who is in our accounting team, and she had the best time. And it was like, okay, we really want to do this going forward. And Jenny works on our ops team. There's so much that happens, an incredible amount that happens. And so sometimes like, if I see like an assumption on social media, it just is a constant reminder. Like I want to explain things because I feel like if we explain things, like people will have more education about how the beauty industry works, right? And two, there's a little bit of just like more transparency that we can provide about like why we do the things we do. But like no matter what, like when we see a problem, which we are constantly, you know, seeing problems, like let's be real, every consumer product in the world will constantly have problems to deal with, whether it's logistics or product or this or that, keeping it in stock, keeping it not overly stocked. There's a lot of things that we deal with. Tariffs are back. Jenny, did you know that? Yes, as of yesterday. Yesterday at the airport, got the notification. So back to 100%. Great. Wonderful. So yeah, there's so many problems. And so it's like, but I want everybody in the community to know, like, truly, like, we are on it. We're trying to do the best we can to solve the problem as comprehensively as possible. Some problems take like a day, and it's like, we'll send out your order, no problem, right? Or some problems literally take like a year and a half because we're just like trying to solve it in so many different angles. We're not there yet. And of course, you know, we really try to be thorough with everything that we do. And it's something we've learned over time, right? Like we've been in business for over 10 years. And so there's a lot of lessons, there's a lot of improvements made along the way. But I am really proud to say that like in over 10 years of business, like I think in the beginning, like my first Instagram story is probably like, you are enough, you know, like, like back when Instagram stories just first launched, I was 16 or 17 or something, and my skin was breaking out and I felt really uncomfortable. And I went on stories because I was like, nobody's going to see this because it was brand new. And anyways, I got like 20 DMs that day from like my like whatever, probably 500 followers being like, thank you so much for this. And so I'm really proud of the fact that like being the main character and having our customers feel like the main character has always been a thing, despite so many other things in our business changing and growing and improving along the way. I think our brand stance of making our community feel really heard and seen has always been there. So very, very proud of that. Is there anything else that anybody would want to share here today on the main character? We have a really fun day. So I told everybody here yesterday we're going to go see Wicked, but don't forget you're still the main character, okay? And tomorrow we have more fun along the way. And I'm sure we will do a recap of our customer brand trip. I think some people asked me here today, I feel like I talked about this a lot, but someone who asked me, they're like, how did you choose I think it was Rachel, yeah. And I'm like, I feel like it's the most impossible task. I'll have to do another episode on that because it really is such an art. It's not like a formula. You know, we really try to have an amazing group that gels well together, and people who are really passionate and are longstanding, as well as people who are new and equally passionate. And anyways, it's everything in between, but we really have the best time planning these, and we hope that the rest of the weekend continues to be amazing. Yay. Thanks for joining. See you next week.